Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Mackay T Podcast. Here are your hosts, Ryan Mackay and T Davis.
This is the Mackay T Show. This is the Mackay T Show. We talk movies and TV shows, sports and world news, coasting like on a world cruise. Hosted by Brian Mackay and T Davis. Yeah, you can't tame us. We're going to the top, we're becoming famous.
What time is it?
It's time for the Mackay T Show.
What time is it?
I said it's time for the Mackay T Show.
Welcome back to the Mackay T Show podcast. NFL Draft. By now, I'm sure most of our listeners that care know who went where and what and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to revisit all that. Just want to hit on some key highlights. As once again, the 10th straight year, the SEC led with the most picks with 51. Ohio State Buckeyes, who had 5 picks in the first round, wound up with 12 draftees overall, which is second all-time to Miami in 2004. Our 49ers...
I don't know what we do.
I don't know.
I don't know. They're trying to lose.
Everywhere I read, the grade is anywhere between C and C+.
D.
We got DeForest Buckner from the defensive end from Oregon. And then just some more notable picks. Jeff Driscoll.
Driscoll of all people, Lord have mercy. Why?
The former Florida Gator then turned La Tech quarterback. Kelvin Taylor, running back out of Florida. Fawn Cooper.
Hold on. I didn't know Taylor.
Yeah, we got him in the late rounds.
Lord have mercy.
And Fawn Cooper, the offensive tackle from the University of Mississippi. Let's see.
Who was Mr. Irrelevant?
Cornerback from USM. I can't remember his name, but yeah, happened to be from USM. But the biggest thing on first night of the draft, and it just kind of trickled all the way through every other night, and it's been on just about every news channel you can possibly imagine. Laremy Tunsil, about probably 10 minutes before the draft, a video surfaced on his Twitter account showing him smoking through a gas mask. Yeah. So there was that, and then probably halfway through the first round, they had an Instagram post posted from his Instagram account saying, basically it was showing text messages between him and assistant coach on the football team. It was like the director of operations, John Miller, concerning money that he needed for rent, and, he was basically needing money for his mother's light bill. So this all came to a head, and this caused the former number 1 pick, before everybody traded up to get their quarterbacks. Tunsil was projected to be number 1 overall. Winds up dropping to 13 to the Miami Dolphins. He gets on the podium where the reporters are asking him questions after he's picked, and he basically admits that he took money while he was at Ole Miss.
I don't know.
Here's what I'll say to all this. The gas mask thing, he tried to say it was 5 years ago, but if you look at the pictures that are online...
First of all, then that came from high school. Get out of here. Go.
There's a rebel flag above his head. So that boy was at Ole Miss somewhere in some fraternity house. Let's be real on this. Second, the text messages about the money. I've been discussing this with people all weekend, and I'm I know there is some kind of it's called SAF, it's Student Assistance Fund, that you're allowed to give players. Because I know we had it when I was there with the women's basketball team, and I know we used it for helping them with flights home, or to, they had a flat tire or something like that, something wrong with their car. I don't know how far it stretches. I don't know if you can give
I don't
it,
know about paying your mama's rent.
because they
Hold on.
already get a check
Your water
for
bill.
their own rent, so I don't know that it stretches to actually paying for your own rent. But nevertheless, it was already to the attention of the NCAA, so they already know about it, so it's not anything new. So
But did he say yes? He did it.
he
When they had
did, and when
No, you don't know what he said in them NCAA meetings. He said
I'm
yes,
talking about
we don't know what he said when the NCAA came here and it was
Right,
all
right,
fresh
right,
and we
right.
was doing season.
I was talking
Now,
about at the draft.
yeah,
Yeah,
no.
when he was
So
rushed off the stage by his handler.
this
Say,
my problem is. This my problem. One, you knew you weren't supposed to take the money. You took the money, so now why you gonna just put them on blast? I.e. Charles Barkley, not Charles. Shaquille O'Neal talking about it paid well for him to go LSU all these years later. Like, well, even if you took the money, you knew you weren't supposed to be getting.
well, in Shaq's case, he did come out and say that that was all just a big joke for those people he was speaking with. So
That's fine, but it's still we got plenty of examples. I can't come up with one just off the top of my head.
right, I understand.
People that have come after they get out the league, get in the league or something, say, "Oh yeah, they paid me. Oh whatever." One, don't leave no paper trail. Whoever you can't, I would have been like, I would have never responded to any of them emails about doing something. I meant to text them. Doing something you know you ain't supposed to do. Number two, again, you took the money. You know you weren't supposed to be taking the money. You was in need, so you did it. Now don't be running out talking about you did it. Just ride the line.
Yeah. I just don't do it in the first place. I'm sorry. You and I have discussed this on many occasions with their scholarships, and with most of them on Pell Grants, which I'm sure, being his background, he probably was. They there's enough money that they're getting out there.
Well, but this is the problem. It's enough money for them, but when they don't have the ability to say no, and they parents calling on them $300 and some dollars, what you missed 2 or 3? Like what you doing? Leaving the water running, got the lights on all day.
And if you read in the text message, the Coach Miller was saying
this keep changing.
that why does the amount keep changing? We had a set amount, and this is way above what we had set. I mean,
so again, this is why they go broke when they go pro, because they don't have the ability to say no.
right.
Yes, mother, I would help you, but I'm not gonna keep doing the same thing. You're gonna have to change some habits. All these uncles, sisters, or whatever. No, I mean, yeah, you want to be the man, I guess, as a guy. Maybe y'all testosterone telling y'all something else. And again, if my mom had called and said, "T, I needed whatever for the water bill," I was smarter with my money. I didn't just blow my Pell Grant on worthless stuff. But this whole, if she did that, $300, that means she was probably asking for money every month.
Yeah.
And so now you can see how they blow that money. Besides on gearing up and having the top gear or whatever. If this is what's going on, you better learn to say no.
Yeah, because if it ain't mama, it's some cousin that you didn't even know you had that's gonna pop up wanting some cash.
Or your best friend, what's the name on the show we watched that was keeping his money and then blew it, like he had $17 million
on Ballers. Oh, golly.
Oh, him.
Yeah, Freddie. No. What was that boy name? Vernon, and
your best friend.
Yeah.
That didn't come to college at all. That need a couple of dollars here and there. You come home and you fresh and clean. He thinking you know, he don't heard the stories how y'all get paid. And man, I need a couple $100 for this. Oh, you remember that time you were at my house, did all this other stuff. I ain't got the time. Again, if you're gonna do this wrong, shut up.
Reggie. Fat Reggie from Crenshaw.
Yes, Reggie. But again, you're gonna do wrong. Stop. Both of y'all knew it was wrong. Now, I can't understand.
Yeah, I can't either. I don't know how much further this will go. Like I said, it was already something that the NCAA knew about, and
they're gonna lose some scholarships.
Yeah.
And look, in a couple of years, because it seems to take the NCAA forever to do whatever they got to do.
Unless they want to, deny and then reapply for the satellite camps. They can they can do that instantaneously.
Right.
So yeah.
Come on, you better than this. I know when you were in some dire straits. What was this dude you was fighting with, the bum stepdad? And I hate to call him a bum, but if you a man in the house and your lady ain't talking about she calling her son for this money, what you been doing? She can't call you to hold her down?
Well, I think the whole thing that even started his stuff with the stepdaddy was the fact that he was defending his mother. His stepdaddy was apparently beating the mother, and he stepped up to defend her. And that's what
he was. So where is this person? They live in Oxford or somewhere close?
I think he's from Florida.
So when are you all this time at home? Most football players go home like scarcely.
Yeah, very, very rarely.
So done with these athletes with the dumb stuff and making the athletes that do the right thing looking bad.
Yeah.
Does anybody that know him around here tell you, he a good kid, whatever, but come on.
As far as quote unquote who won the draft, I tried not to be, when I was making my notes, I tried not to be too Ole Miss biased, but I couldn't help it on some things because they just fell into great situations.
Kendichi sure did.
Yes, Robert Kendichi, if he can keep his head on straight, the way he fell to number 29 to the Arizona Cardinals, that's a great place for him. Laquan Treadwell fell to 23 to Minnesota Vikings. I mean, he could be exactly what they need because they already have a bunch of deep threats, which is not really what he is. He's more that guy that's going to get that 50-50 ball, possession receiver, which is what they really need, and he's going to help Bridgewater develop.
Didn't nobody tell him that your daughter and taking your daughter all up to you ain't Stephon Curry yet. Like, I was like, okay, that's cute, but wait a minute. You are working.
Yeah, something needed to just be left in the green room, unfortunately.
Yes. She don't even know what happened.
She just up there. The Broncos, defending champions, traded up to get Paxton Lynch, the quarterback from Memphis. I think,
I think that's a good fit for him.
Yeah,
their defense still gonna hold it down.
I mean, they proved last year that with the shell of his former self and Peyton Manning, they can still carry themselves. Yeah, I mean, and this guy, he's going to develop. He's got a bunch of good weapons around him. We're interested to see what happens with him. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll get into some NBA talk. And we'll find out what T thinks about the Lakers' moves this weekend. But that's for the other side. This has been the Mack and T Show.
What time is it? What time is it?
Welcome back to the Mack and T Show podcast. NBA. Over the weekend, the Los Angeles Lakers got a new head coach, Luke Walton, assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors. What are your feelings on your new boss?
First of all, he is not a boss. We still got the same problem for bosses. And the boss is trying to do whatever he can to save his job. I like Luke. I'm taking what he did with the Golden State Warriors with a grain of salt. Obviously, we don't have Curry, Draymond, Thompson, Iguodala, and none of that. Really, it all is going to hinge on him getting a 1 or 2 pick. Because I don't even want to. I'll take the 3 pick if that's going to keep us from having to give the pick away. But if we don't get Ingram or Simmons, it's going to be a long year. It's still going to be a long year with either of them, but the future will look much brighter with a big athlete. And then the little pieces they have so far. So maybe, though, he can change the culture because I don't know what's going on. Byron Scott didn't have no control, seemed like, what was going on. And I ain't just talking about Russell. I'm talking about the crying, the seeing people on the bench. They ain't had no identity. All this was just COVID farewell, and the rest of y'all, whatever. Just watch it like the rest of the fans.
Kobe going down to the end of the bench and making that boy sit on the floor while he in his suit.
Yeah, so that was funny, but it was just a debacle. I think Luke, if he can bring that culture of selflessness and teamwork to them, that'll go a long way.
Call it what you want to call it. Call it. Give it your word. The Travis Shit-mockery. Go ahead. One time.
What's the Travis Shit-mockery?
Your Lakers.
It's gonna be a Travis Shit-mockery if we don't get that 1, 2, or 3 pick. Yes.
Listen, y'all gonna get the first, second pick, and then
David Stern is gone.
And then you'll get Kevin Durant and a couple more free agents.
Kevin Durant is too old, and I say that because he looking to go somewhere where he got a chance to win a championship in the near future, and the Lakers not it. If anybody, the next year I'll be going after Westbrook.
You going after the all-star, not a superstar, huh? As Mark Cuban calls him.
He's so ignorant. How many superstars we have?
Mark Cuban knew what he was doing. It just didn't work for him.
But who is a superstar? Like, Westbrook really isn't a superstar. Like, he ain't no household name. They talk about LeBron and Curry. They don't even talk about LeBron so much now, but I mean, you know he's still the man. Mm-hmm. Curry is the name you hear the most. We into basketball, but when you don't hear like, oh, Westbrook, yeah, he balling, yeah, he had the triple double, but he's not like a household name.
Well, I'll tell you, when you didn't hear too much about Westbrook Saturday night when they played the San Antonio Spurs, and the Spurs destroyed the Oklahoma City Thunder 124-92, and it really wasn't even that close. The
so
Spurs.
Who was guarding?
Kawhi Leonard was on Russell Westbrook.
So, who they had on Durant?
I want to say Green, Danny Green. I want to say it was him, but it was a great move putting Leonard on Westbrook because it took away his post-up game. I mean, he was basically just a glorified driver, and him and Durant were 11 for 34 from the field, and it wasn't. I will say this: everybody getting all over Coach Billy Donovan this morning. It was not for a lack of effort. There was a lot of effort being put out there. Their execution was gone. I mean, there was nothing on the execution front.
But that's what happens in the game. Now it's their time to make some adjustments. Like, that's what happened in the playoffs.
And I'm sure they will, and tonight will be a different story.
They still gonna lose, but they probably won't get blown away.
And San Antonio was led by LaMarcus Aldridge with 38 points on the night. And Sunday night, Golden State took Game 1 of their Western Conference Semifinals against Portland Trailblazers, 118-106, behind 37 points from the much aligned, much belined, or whatever you want to call it, Klay Thompson.
They ain't playing nobody.
And a triple-double from Draymond Green.
Again, they ain't playing nobody. Draymond Green is the man when Curry ain't there. And way to go, Thompson, to get your points.
The reports from the game were that Steph Curry could be back possibly as early as Game 3.
Until this game, till they go lose a game, sit down, Steph Curry. Sit down somewhere. They don't need you rest and get as close to 100% as you can. Because the deeper this goes, when y'all meet up with San Antonio or whoever, you're going to need to be 100%.
Here's what I couldn't find out, and I guess I just didn't research it that much. Is his knee on the same leg as his hurt ankle? Because, Lord.
Well, I think he did hurt the right one, didn't he?
I believe so.
But it was the right leg that got hurt. That was the one that bent. So, yeah, it is.
I don't think and I started feeling this way last year. I know we spoke about it on the podcast last year. I believe this playoffs is even less exciting to me.
It's been kind of boring, but
yeah.
We thought this OKC San Antonio thing, but it looking like that might just be boring too. And yeah.
I mean, it
would have been fun if the Clippers had been 100% playing Golden State. That would have been a little more exciting, I suspect. But especially after trash talking the Clippers did all summer.
Yeah, and then they just what's gonna happen with them? Are they gonna bust that up? What do you think?
Blake gotta go and get some more pieces.
You think Blake? Because everybody's saying
they're not gonna get rid of Chris Paul.
Everybody's saying Chris Paul would be the one.
How you gonna get rid of the person that makes the team run? When Blake was gone with the suspensions and the broke hand, they still was winning.
This is what I believe. I believe that Cleveland, although they are running well right now, they're going to implode upon themselves at some point. And they will trade Kyrie Irving out to L.A. for Chris Paul. Because, let me not even say they. LeBron will trade Kyrie Irving. Because LeBron is the one making them calls. LeBron will trade Kyrie Irving to L.A. for Chris Paul. And he'll bring in all his little buddies. And and you know.
Kyrie, I know he's supposed to be running things, quote unquote. He is in LeBron James, but when you're talking about age, Kyrie is good. You got to think about he was hurt the first part of the season. You see, he playing better. Yep. Ain't no way I'd trade him for Paul because Paul probably is at the peak of his career. He's gonna be solid, but
he's definitely not on the up track of his career anymore. He's on the other side of the hill at this point.
So, no, thank you.
And Kyrie, you can tell he's much more comfortable this year playing with LeBron. Last year, he didn't have the ball in his hand. He didn't look comfortable at all playing off the ball. He's much more understanding and much more comfortable with things now. So I don't know. And then you got Kevin Love dropping dimes on the State Farm commercial.
I love that commercial. And he said, "Where do you get them dimes from?"
Kevin, where you get the dimes from? And then Mama has no rings.
DeAndre come out there talking about somebody done stole his ring. That's hilarious.
And the fact that they got Kevin Garnett playing that old band.
He's perfect for the granddaddy. So when you talk about, let's see, Chris Paul, 10-year career, never made it out of the first round. I don't know. He's going to have to go play with LeBron, I guess, to try to win one, if that's the case. Because Chris, it don't look like it's going to happen. And you know what? this could be part of karma. I don't even want to say karma. I'm gonna say this could be part of the world being around, and what go around come around.
I was waiting on this.
Dallas with the DeAndre Jordan situation, and y'all was real messy on that. I understand trying to keep your player, but be a man about it. Just call the dude and say I ain't coming.
Right.
And so now, look, y'all doing the same thing Dallas doing. Sitting at home.
Don't say what you want to say. It's karma for what David Stern did to your Lakers with Chris
No,
Paul.
that ain't what I wanted to say. No, I'm talking about for that mess of debacle this summer when DeAndre Jordan was like, "Oh, he going to Dallas." Then, and I ain't no Dallas fan by no stretch of the imagination, but
yeah, when they
all of a sudden
when they flew everybody out to Houston to barricade that man's door and not let anybody in.
Right. Just be a man and text the man or call him and say, look, I changed my mind. I want to stay where I am. And not all this other extra stuff that you was doing.
I mean, he still would have got some flack for it, but it would not have been as severe.
And I'm sure the guy Cuban would have been like, okay, I understand it. I'm disappointed, but...
Right, he'd have been a lot more understanding.
But this whole not answering my phone call got me running around trying to find your house and all this other mess. That's what y'all get. It came back and bit you in the butt.
Well, that's going to take us to our next break. On the other side, we'll get into our latest review and recap of Empire. But that's for the other side. This has been the Mackay T Show.
What time is it? What time is it?
Welcome back to the Mackay T Show podcast. Let's jump into Empire and let's talk about the first family of music, as quoted by Cookie to some reporters at the announcement for her fundraiser. We're just gonna, fictionalize and discount all the the Jacksons and the people like that. Cookie just throw her lines in there as the very first family of music. Okay. So, let's see. I'm just going to go kind of storyline by storyline. Andre is talking to Cookie about her ASA fundraiser event she's coming up with. And he wants to partner it with the National Alliance of Bipolar Disorder. And make himself the spokesperson. Cookie, kind of agrees, says that'd be a great way to impress the board and, possibly get them to bring back Lucius as the CEO. And, it'd give, him and Lucius a moment to have to themselves and to kind of show that they're with each other, blah, blah, blah. Hakeem and Laura drama continues. He tells Laura that Anika is pregnant with his baby. She ain't really like it, but I think
that's just my baby daddy.
I think the majority of the reason for her dislike and frustration with it all is because Hakeem tells her this as she's then walked in on him drunk off his behind and laying around with a bunch of strippers. So
take it off. Oh, sorry.
Laura and Hakeem will talk later, and he tries to convince her that he can work out being the father of Anika's baby and still be married to her, and they can all still be a family. Laura ends that conversation by saying that she and him have two very different views on what being a family means. And she takes off the engagement ring and leaves as Hakeem is getting, you'll find out more about this later, but at the time Hakeem was getting texts from Cookie telling him to come to the hospital, Anika's in the hospital, blah, blah. Laura later on will confront Hakeem at the hospital, kind of tells him that Lucius called her and talked her into coming back to him saying that he was great. He was very happy with the way Hakeem was handling everything. And I lost my notes. Hang on 1 second. Which was basically an OMG moment for me because Lucius, even though it hadn't come out yet, he's got some kind of ulterior motive for doing what he did. Michael is back. For you that don't watch Empire regularly, Jamal's ex-boyfriend Michael is working for the caterer of Cookie's event, and him and Jamal have a little run-in at the preparation for the event was going on. They decide they want to talk or whatever. They go back to the coffee house where they first met, which is where Jamal kind of got his career started. He winds up singing a song with the house band, and we don't really see Michael again in the episode after this. I don't know if we will see Michael again, maybe, maybe not, but I kind of got the feeling that the way Jamal sang with the band was kind of, in my mind, kind of like a metaphor for what their relationship seemingly always was. And, Michael didn't really like the fact that Jamal was always going to put his music before him in the relationship. And you saw that play out, as Michael went on and kind of stabbed Jamal a little bit, doing the nasty with the other man. You remember from season 1 when he,
we see oral sex.
Yeah. So moving on. The quote was, "I should have never went public." That's what Lucius says to himself after talking with Hakeem and Cookie when they were confronting him about threatening Anika.
But then I feel like Cookie said that, but she had just got out of jail and he already had decided.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
Oh yeah. It's now Lucius coming out with it, not just kind of the frustrations of everything. It comes out that Anika basically had a panic attack, but they are keeping her in the hospital for observation. Hakeem and Lucius have a moment in the waiting room where the son tells his father he knows about Lucius having Anika's father commit fraud with the whole Alzheimer's taking his company public stuff from season 1. Lucius seems to show he has much more respect for Hakeem now after everything has gone down. But it is Lucius, so who knows if he's being truthful about everything. Harper Scott, the blogger, reporter lady that's been kind of trailing Lucius the last couple episodes, her and Lucius have a little rendezvous, and things were getting hot and heavy until Cookie. This is when Anika's in the hospital, so Cookie starts texting and calling Lucius and kind of interrupts everything. And Cookie always seemed to kind of interrupt whenever him and Harper were starting to have a moment all throughout the last couple episodes, so this kind of frustrates Harper. She makes a backhanded comment about Cookie, and Lucius basically kicks her out, tells her, you're not going to talk about Cookie like that, blah, blah, blah. At the hospital, Cookie talks Lucius into scooping Harper by leaking that her fundraiser will be tied to the Bipolar Association, which obviously further...
Is this the girl that was doing some interview with Lucius early?
Mm-hmm.
Curly? Okay.
Curly head, yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's going to further infuriate Harper when she, walks up to Lucius at the fundraiser saying, you gonna let another reporter scoop me. Obviously, my whole story means nothing now, and they have a little moment. Well, when that moment passes, she walks straight up to Andre, Harper that is, corners him, shows him pictures of his grandmother, who is very much alive. He leaves the event seemingly upset, but as we see from the previews for next week, he brings his grandmother in to meet the rest of the family. And Mama Leah and Lucius have a moment, so I can't wait to see how that goes down. The episode ends with Cookie and Lucius being named co-CEOs of Empire by the board.
Okay.
And Lucius is fake happy about everything as he hugs Cookie.
That wicked.
The camera zooms in on his face, and he kind of like looks into the camera, and he got this look on his eyes, and he says, "I got your back." And he ain't really, it's almost like a moment like, "Oh Lord, Cookie gonna die." Kind of one of those moments. Even though he ain't gonna kill Cookie, he gonna do a lot of things, to sabotage. I got a little section. I wrote down some notes, kind of some predictions. I found out through some other podcasts that I listened to that Naomi Campbell was apparently throwing some hints that her character may not be dead. The person on the podcast said that they ran into her, and she was saying that she couldn't really talk about the show, but when asked if that meant that she could be back or her character could be back, she kind of smiled, kind of coyishly, and so there's a possibility that we might be seeing Naomi come back. I think that the last couple of episodes of the season possibly could see Cookie and Lucius kind of a little bit at odds and at war with each other over this co-CEO thing. But I also think it's possible that Lucius could kind of revert back to that scared little boy from all his flashbacks when his mom shows up. So I think that's going to be something to watch. I want to know when, because at this point it's not if, it's going to be when. When will we find out that, or when will Frida find out that Lucius had her father killed in prison? Go ahead, hit it one time.
Excuse, I don't mean to be rude. Okay, good.
And for anyone who did not see last week's episode, you need to go YouTube Jamal singing "Good Enough." That song that he sang.
I don't like the remake. But go ahead.
You don't like it?
I did.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Maybe it was just a moment.
You must have got caught up. Maybe I like it better when I'm watching the whole show.
I thought it was a pretty good song. But I'm that R&B fan anyway, so anything with that kind of sound gets me.
I just thought it was too slow.
Well, unless you have anything else, I think that's going to put a wrap on today's.
Do I have anything else? Let's see. We talked about the crazies in the NFL and the NCAA. Yeah, we sure ain't nothing else crazy happened that we forgot about.
Did you get your railroad tracks off your shirt from last week?
I think I might have got these. It's still some little markings on my skin, but I think I got that off. I see buses now and be flinching, but other than that. Well, Larry, folks, I'll tell y'all all about that story one day when I'm not at this university.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
That is hilarious.
Goodness.
Yes. And let me just say this, people. People. Please, don't let your kids, if y'all got them, walk down the street by themselves. I'm going out just to take a little stroll Sunday, just to get out the house. I see 2 kids. They could have been more than 6. I'm giving them first grade. They might have been kindergarten. A little boy and a little girl walking. And I'm like, what the world? Okay, I'm like panning the neighborhood, like, okay, what are grown people? They walk on down. It's a drain in front of my house. He looks down in the drain. The little girl keep walking. Then I hear him say, oh, we got to walk all the way back to the house. Like, so he even knows that he's too far from the house.
Right.
Because there's only one exit and entrance into where I live. But if somebody had to scoop them up, this person wouldn't even know they were gone.
What the world?
They like 4 houses from where they supposed to be. And I'm guessing because as I'm walking out towards the exit of the neighborhood, I see our door open with like a baby gate, like to keep an infant from crawling out or something. But the door is open, and then I see like a 3, maybe 4-year-old just standing there. And I'm like, okay, they supposed to be here. And I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4 houses. Yeah, I don't know. This is how people wind up with Amber Alerts. Shout out to my sibling, 004. Happy birthday. It was yesterday. Shout out to Renee.
Yes.
Renee's birthday today, too. Who else? Peaches.
Peaches.
Peaches'
Yeah.
birthday today.
Yep.
Okay, Peaches. Yolanda Sharp does not listen to our episode, but anybody that knows Yolanda, let her know that we gave her a shout out.
You don't know. And Renee, if somebody let her listen to us, Renee probably hear it. Renee Ladner, that is.
Okay, well, that's good. That's about it. That's all the shout outs and everything I can think of. But people, keep the kids at the house so they don't become a statistic.
Be with them. Go out and enjoy the wilderness with them.
Or something. Don't just let them be wandering around and talking about we got to walk all the way back to the house. I was like, all the way. I'm okay now, but it's still trouble my spirit.
Well, I think that's gonna put a wrap on our episode today. As always, I am Brian Mackay, and I am with
T. It is great to be a Florida Davis.
And this has been the Mackay T Show podcast. Thank you for listening.
This is the Mackay T Show. This is the Mackay T Show. We talk movies and TV shows, sports and world news, coasting like on a world cruise. Hosted by Brian Mackay and T Davis. Yeah. You can't tame us. We're going to the top, we're becoming famous.
What time is it?
It's time for the Mackay T Show.
What time is it?
I said it's time for the Mackay T Show.